Have you ever had a teacher with literally no common sense? My history teacher, Mr. Patterson, was convinced I was too stupid to contribute anything meaningful to class discussions. I had a C+ average and asked what he called irrelevant questions, so he basically treated me like furniture. During our World War II unit, Patterson was explaining the atomic bombs dropped on Japan. The bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki were absolutely necessary, he declared with complete confidence. They saved millions of American lives by ending the war quickly. Japan would never have surrendered otherwise. I raised my hand. But didn't Japan try to surrender before the bombs were dropped? Patterson rolled his eyes dramatically. Marcus, that's exactly the kind of oversimplified thinking that gets people confused about history. Japan was prepared to fight to the death. The atomic bombs were the only option. But I read that Japan was already trying to negotiate surrender through the Soviet Union in July. Where did you read that? Wikipedia? The class laughed. Marcus, stick to what's in the textbook. Japan's military leadership was fanatically committed to continuing the war. I tried again. What about the fact that most of Japan's cities were already destroyed by conventional bombing, and their navy was basically gone? Patterson slammed his textbook shut. Marcus, I have a master's degree in history. You have a C+ average. I think I know what I'm talking about here. The whole class went silent. I felt my face burning with embarrassment, but I couldn't let it go. Mr. Patterson, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but my grandfather fought in the Pacific. He always said the Japanese were already beaten before the bombs. Your grandfather wasn't making strategic military decisions, Marcus. President Truman had access to intelligence you and your grandfather could never understand. That's when I pulled out my phone and started reading from a history website. The United States Strategic Bombing Survey concluded that Japan would have surrendered before November 1945, even without the atomic bombs. Put that phone away immediately, Patterson snapped. This is exactly why students shouldn't have access to random internet sources. You're cherry-picking information to support a naive viewpoint. But I kept going. General Eisenhower, MacArthur, and Admiral Leahy all said the bombs weren't necessary. These aren't random internet sources. These are the actual military leaders. Patterson's face was getting red. Marcus, you're disrupting the class with conspiracy theories. The decision was made by people far smarter than you. So you're saying all those generals were wrong, but you're right? The classroom erupted. Half the students started arguing with each other about whether I was being disrespectful or if Patterson was wrong. Some kids pulled out their phones and started fact-checking everything. Patterson tried to regain control. Everyone put your phones away. Marcus, principal's office, now. But it was too late. Students were reading quotes from military leaders, finding documents about Japan's surrender attempts, discovering that 7 of 8 5-star generals opposed using the bombs. I walked to the principal's office, but by the end of the day, half the class was questioning everything Patterson had taught them. The next week, Patterson announced we'd be having supplementary discussions about multiple historical perspectives. Sometimes being the dumb kid means you ask questions smart people are afraid to ask.